She woke up at 4 a.m. every day for 22 years. Not because she wanted to, not because it was inspirational, because the tomatoes had to be at the market before the morning rush, and the morning rush waited for nobody. Her name was Mama Chinyere, and by the time her youngest daughter graduated from university, she had built something that most people with university degrees and corporate salaries had not: genuine, lasting financial security. Property owned, children educated, grandchildren funded, peace of mind earned. This is her story, and inside it is a financial education worth more than any MBA. The starting point. Mama Chinyere started selling tomatoes in Onitsha main market in 1995. She was 28 years old. She had 2 children and a husband who drove a truck on the Onitsha-Asaba route. Her starting capital was 3,500 naira, borrowed from her mother-in-law and repaid within 3 months. She had no formal education beyond primary school. She could read, write, and calculate. The calculating, it turned out, was the most important of the 3. From her very first day of trading, Mama Chinyere kept a ledger. The ledger. It was not a sophisticated accounting system. It was a school notebook, the kind primary school children use, that she bought for 50 naira from a stationery stall near her spot. Every day, before she opened for business, she wrote down what she had: tomatoes bought, capital spent, any outstanding debts owed to her or by her. Every evening before she went home, she wrote down what had happened, what sold, what spoiled, what she made, what she spent. Not in accounting language, in plain Igbo and Pidgin, in a handwriting that was sometimes rushed and sometimes careful, depending on how the day had gone. But always, every single day, without exception. After 1 month, she sat down with the notebook and looked at everything, and what she saw changed how she thought about her business forever. The first revelation. In that first month, Mama Chinyere discovered that she had made a gross profit of approximately 11,000 naira on her trading, but she only had 4,200 naira to show for it. Nearly 7,000 naira had disappeared. The ledger told her exactly where. Credit given to customers who had not yet paid, 2,800 naira. Spoilage from tomatoes that had not sold before they rotted, 1,900 naira. Small personal expenses drawn from the business float without being recorded, approximately 2,000 naira. Without the ledger, she would have never known any of this. She would simply have felt the vague frustration of working hard and having little to show for it, a feeling that millions of Nigerian market traders live with their entire careers without ever understanding why. With the ledger, she had a diagnosis, and a diagnosis is the beginning of a solution. What she changed. Over the following months, Mama Chinyere made 3 systematic changes to her trading. First, she tightened her credit policy. Customers who had demonstrated consistent repayment received credit with a limit. Customers with outstanding balances received no new goods until they settled. New customers paid cash only. This was hard. Some customers went to other traders, but the ones who stayed were reliable, and her outstanding credit fell from 2,800 naira in month 1 to under 500 naira by month 6. Second, she adjusted her purchasing. The ledger revealed that certain days of the week had higher spoilage than others. She was buying too much for slow days. She began buying smaller quantities more frequently, calibrated to actual sales patterns she could see in the ledger. Spoilage dropped from 17% of her stock to under 5% within 2 months. Third, she separated business money from personal money. She opened a second account, a different envelope in the beginning, then literally a second bank account once she had enough to make it practical, for household expenses. The business float was the business's. It was not for recharge cards or transport or anything personal ever. These 3 changes alone increased her effective take-home from trading by over 40% without changing her turnover at all. The habit of the ledger over 22 years. What Mama Chinyere did next is the part of the story that most people find hardest to believe, not because it is extraordinary, but because it is so extraordinarily simple. She kept the ledger every day for 22 years. The notebook changed. Over the years, she graduated from school notebooks to proper accounting books to eventually a simple spreadsheet that her daughter helped her set up on a second-hand laptop. But the discipline never changed. Every day, in or out, every naira tracked. And because she tracked everything, she knew something that most traders around her did not: exactly how much she was making, exactly where it was going, and exactly how much was available to build with. The building years. In 1998, 3 years after she started, Mama Chinyere had her first real surplus, a consistent monthly profit of around 25,000 to 30,000 naira above household expenses. Not large, but consistent and visible because the ledger made it visible. She did not upgrade her lifestyle, she made a decision. The surplus would buy land. Her husband thought she was being premature. What can you buy with 25,000 naira savings a month? Her mother-in-law thought she should put it in a contribution and a susu with other women in the market. Mama Chinyere put it in a savings account and waited. After 14 months, she had approximately 380,000 naira. She bought a plot of land on the outskirts of Onitsha. Then she went back to the market and started the ledger for the next plot. The compound effect of consistency. Between 1998 and 2017, 19 years, Mama Chinyere bought 4 plots of land using the same method: track everything, identify surplus, save surplus without touching it, buy land when enough accumulates, and repeat. She did not buy all 4 at equal intervals. Some took longer, some were bought faster as her business grew and the surplus grew with it. But the method never changed. In 2010, her trading business had expanded. She was no longer just a tomato seller. She had added pepper, onions, and eventually a small stall selling dried goods. She had 2 young women working with her. Her monthly net income from trading had grown to over 150,000 naira monthly. She was also receiving rent from the first plot she had developed into a small structure, 35,000 naira monthly from a shop tenant. The ledger now covered not just the market stall but everything: trading income, rent income, household expenses, savings targets, outstanding investments. It was essentially still a notebook, but it now tracked the finances of a small empire. The children. Mama Chinyere had 4 children. All 4 went to university, all 4 graduated, not one of them took a student loan, not one of them graduated into debt. She paid for all of it from trading income, rental income, and occasional liquidation of savings, always planned, always recorded in the ledger, and always replaced as soon as income permitted. The ledger made planning real. It turned future obligations from anxiety into items with a column and a figure. Where she is today. Mama Chinyere is 57 years old. She still goes to the market most days, not because she must, but because, she says, the market is where she thinks clearly. She owns 4 plots of land, 2 of which have been developed into small commercial structures generating rental income. Her trading business runs mostly on its own now, managed by a trusted employee she trained over 7 years. Her monthly passive income from rent alone exceeds 120,000 naira monthly. Her trading business generates an additional 100,000 to 150,000 naira monthly. Her 4 children are financially independent. She built this from 3,500 naira borrowed from her mother-in-law and a school notebook that cost 50 naira in a market in Onitsha at 4 a.m. every morning. And it made all the difference. If this story changed how you think about tracking your money, hit that like button and subscribe. Share this with someone who needs to hear it. Drop a comment. What is your ledger?